The Chicago Bears will officially kick off their 2018 rookie minicamp on May 11 at Halas Hall in Lake Forest, Illinois. Over the course of 3 days, Friday through Sunday, all of Chicago's draft selections and their undrafted free agents will take part in the activities. The team has not released a full list of all the participants in terms of undrafted free agents for this weekend's event, but many player names have been leaked since the conclusion of the NFL draft in late May. Chicago made 7 selections in the draft, 1 each in the 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th rounds, with 2 selections in the 2nd round of the draft. Chicago should feel good about the direction of the team in comparison to years past. After firing head coach John Fox in January, the team is now leaning on Matt Nagy to bring the offense into the 21st century. This weekend will be his taste of rookie minicamp as the head coach after serving as the offensive coordinator with the Kansas City Chiefs the last 2 seasons. Just ahead, we will take a look at the top 10 most important players to keep an eye on in this weekend's rookie minicamp from Lake Forest. The Bears added 1 new interior offensive lineman in James Daniels in the 2nd round of this year's draft and also signed a veteran in Earl Watford this offseason, but Allen will be a name worth watching this weekend. He played all over the offensive line for Hawaii, making starts at right guard and left guard before eventually settling in at the left tackle position. He finished last season as a first-team All-Conference player at Hawaii. 6 feet 3 inches and 290 pounds, he does not have the size to play on the outside at the NFL level. Despite that, he does have impressive athleticism and figures to be in the running to fight for a roster spot this offseason, with a lot of uncertainty behind the likes of Daniels, Cody Whitehair and Kyle Long. The Bears had a major need at the outside linebacker position this offseason and surprisingly did not address the position until the 6th round with Fitz. As a freshman at UCLA, he appeared in 6 games, primarily on special teams. After that year he transferred to Utah and was forced to sit out the 2014 season, due to NCAA transfer rules. In 2015 he appeared in all 13 games for the Utes and made a total of 11 starts. He led the entire Pac-12 with 4 forced fumbles, and finished the year with 40 tackles, 7 tackles for loss and 7 sacks. Expectations were high for him in 2016 before injuries limited his season. He appeared in the first 2 games with 1 start before he suffered a season-ending foot injury. He ended that season with just 4 tackles, 3 tackles for loss and 1.5 sacks. This past season he saw action in 8 games and made 23 tackles with 3 sacks while struggling with a variety of injuries. Despite his injury history, there is a lot of talent there with Fitz. His ability to get off the snap of the ball quickly and his impressive length will be worth watching this weekend in Chicago. All the publicity has gone toward 2nd-round pick Anthony Miller, and rightfully so, but 7th-rounder Javon Wims is no slouch at the wide receiver position. In his first season at Georgia he saw action in 13 games with 3 starts, catching 17 passes for 190 yards with 1 touchdown. This past season he became a bigger part of the offense, appearing in 14 games and catching 45 passes for 720 yards with 7 touchdowns. One of the best games of his career came in the team's college football playoff game against Oklahoma, in which he caught 6 passes for 73 yards and scored 1 touchdown. At 6 feet 3 inches and 215 pounds, Wims has great size for the position. His 4.53-second 40-yard dash time was in the lower half of this year's participants, but his game speed looks to be much better than his timed speed. He is at his best down the field and could easily develop into a red zone threat early in his career. With all eyes on Miller this weekend, do not be surprised to hear good things about Wims. The second overall pick for the Bears in April, Daniels is expected to play at a new position with the organization. After primarily playing the center position at Iowa, Daniels will move over to left guard to begin his career. General Manager Ryan Pace announced that decision after Chicago took Daniels on day 2 of the draft. As a freshman in 2015, he was one of just 4 Hawkeye true freshmen to appear in a game that season. He saw action in every game, including 2 starts at left guard. During his sophomore season, he was moved from guard to center. That year he started 11 of 13 games and was awarded a spot on the Big Ten's third team for his play. He started all 12 games last year for Iowa at the position and was given an honorable mention for all conference honors. He opted to forego his senior season to enter this year's draft. Throughout the weekend it will be worth noting how often he lines up at the guard position and if he gets any reps at center. Chicago took Iugb in the 4th round of this year's draft. While he may be blocked right now at the inside linebacker position by Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan and Nick Kwiatkowski, the young linebacker will have a chance to show off his athleticism and speed at minicamp this weekend. At 6 feet 1 inch and 229 pounds, he ran a solid 4.6-second 40-yard dash time at the NFL Scouting Combine and also registered 19 reps on the bench press, a 35-inch vertical and a 4.28-second time in the 20-yard shuttle. Those numbers prove his athleticism, but he will have to prove at the NFL level that he can play with consistency and strength. In 4 seasons at Western Kentucky he racked up 201 tackles, 22.5 tackles for loss, and 5.5 sacks. He capped off his final season with 117 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. At minicamp this weekend it will be worth noting to see if he lines up anywhere other than inside linebacker in the team's 3-4 scheme. Like others on this list, it will be interesting to see where the team decides to play nickels this weekend at Halas Hall. Projected to be a 5-technique defensive end in Chicago's 3-4 scheme, it will not come as a surprise if he also gets some work playing on the inside as well. A 5th-round pick of Chicago in late April, Nichols saw action in all 12 games as a backup his freshman season and finished the year with 19 tackles. The following year he earned all-conference honors for his play, appearing in 11 games with 1 start. He finished the year with 28 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 interception and 1 pass deflection. As a junior he appeared in 10 games with 9 starts, recording 25 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss and 5 sacks. He capped off his final season at Delaware with 56 tackles, 5.5 sacks and 1 interception. Signed as an undrafted free agent, Toliver may be the most talented UDFA in Chicago this weekend. As a true freshman, Toliver saw action in 12 games, recording 35 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 interception and 5 pass deflections. The following year he saw action in 7 games with 5 starts but missed the final 4 games of the season with a shoulder injury. He finished the season with 21 tackles and 1 pass deflection. This past season he played in 12 games with 5 starts. He finished the season with 27 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 interception, 10 pass deflections and 1 forced fumble. Despite having a shaky junior season, Toliver opted to leave LSU early to enter this year's draft. With still some uncertainty at cornerback in Chicago, Tolliver can set himself on the track to compete for a roster spot this weekend. The Bears traded back into the second round of the 2018 NFL Draft to snatch Anthony Miller, so clearly the team thinks very highly of him. As he enters his first minicamp with the Bears, it will be interesting to see where the team uses him this weekend. The organization has noted he will get some work both inside and outside this offseason, even though he saw the majority of his work on the outside at Memphis. Miller is a dynamic wideout and should stand head and shoulders above most of the rookies on this year's roster this weekend. During his time at Memphis, after joining the squad as a walk-on, he caught 238 passes for 3,590 yards with 37 touchdowns, including back-to-back seasons in which he caught at least 95 passes for over 1,400 yards. Michael Joseph is the most intriguing name on this entire list. He went undrafted out of Dubuque in late April, and some believe he can be a diamond in the rough as an undrafted free agent signing. The Oswego, Illinois native racked up 56 tackles and an impressive 8 interceptions this past season after registering 7 total interceptions the previous 2 seasons. He pressed enough at the Division III level to get invited to the NFL Scouting Combine back in February. He was named the Defensive Player of the Year for his conference and brings with him to the Bears plenty of NFL size at 6 feet 1 inch and 187 pounds. This weekend will be his first chance to prove to the organization he has what it takes to push for a roster spot this offseason. There should be no surprise here as to who lands at number 1 on the list. Roquan Smith is the new face of the Bears franchise on defense, and all eyes will be on him this weekend at Halas Hall. There is no doubt he will be a starter alongside Danny Trevathan at the inside linebacker position this upcoming season. This weekend will give everyone a chance to see him don the navy and orange for the first time and hopefully start forging his legacy in Chicago. The thing to watch with him will be less about his talents on the field and more about how he carries himself in front of his teammates. In addition to being pegged as a starter already, Smith is already viewed as a young leader for the organization. It will be worth watching to see how much his teammates gravitate toward him throughout the weekend.